welcome to Blantex. And today we are in conversation with Mr. Nath, who is the founder of UGro Capital. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations for the launch of the Sampatk, MSME Sampatk. So tell us why the MSME Sampatk book is going to be the go-to place and what are the key findings?
Yes. So as you know, whenever I ask you what do you think about MSME, you ask any bank, any journalist, generally the general perception is MSME मतलब बहुत ही कमजोर इकाई, very weak segment of our market, right? What we have been seeing over a period of last 5 years in our evolution as you grow, when we have lent almost 15,000 crore, an outstanding book of 8,300 crore, 90,000 plus customer, that MSME have changed. They have changed through, because of the advent of digitization, the way the GST has evolved, all through the pandemic, because of the demonetization, MSMEs are no longer that weak segment of the market. They are becoming more and more resilient. They are much more stronger, and we wanted to demonstrate that by the lens of the macroeconomic data which DNB brought, and our loan data of the customer which we see, so that media at large, bankers at large start believing that MSMEs are the real fulcrum of our economic growth for future. And that's the whole purpose of this
Exactly,
report.
MSMEs become the buzzword, and as we are entering the Amrit Kal, the small business are going to contribute to the Indian economic growth story. So talk to us about the partnership with DNB.
So as we said that most of there are hardly any big industry report which comes out, right?
Okay.
So there is the report which SIDBI and CIBIL does.
Sure.
That report actually only shows the loan data performance, right?
Okay.
Of all the loans which have been applied, how is their bureau behavior and record. But what is happening to the macro, because that report is predominantly talks about existing loans and their performance.
Right.
But how the future would be, and correlate that how a lender is looking to his own customer base and what is their evolution.
Okay.
We have tried to combine this.
Right.
So DNB brings great insight with respect to the global perspective. They have a very large base of what they call done reports and MSME research which they provide. And UGro have massive data analytics capability to look and sniff through the data of our existing customers.
Sure.
So we have combined these two, and that's why if anyone has to refer what is happening to MSME economy, what would happen to MSME economy, and how should we see, is that this is the report, and that's why we have made it as a biannual exercise, wherein we will every 6 months will come and present to you that how things have evolved and how they will evolve in future.
Sure. So the credit rate is increasing. So what do you think? Is it going to be a hindrance to the MSMEs?
What is increasing, sorry?
The credit rate?
No, I don't think so. See, look, as I was explaining it earlier as well, that India's credit gap is roughly around, or credit demand for MSMEs is around 90 lakh crore.
Okay.
Of that 90 lakh crore, only 20% come from formal system, which means roughly around 50 lakh to 60 lakh crore is not funded by the formal system, which means these customer bases are borrowing or taking money from informal system at a very obnoxious rate from somewhere else.
Sure.
And we are only replacing that. So the absorption capacity for a small business is much higher than what we perceive. Obviously, credit at a lower rate is helpful, but I don't think so the degree of variation in the credit cost is as big as a hindrance as the timely credit and amount of credit is more important for small businesses.
Okay. Earlier today you mentioned about the jugaad. So can you share that with us?
So I was talking in context as somebody was saying that there is so much of noise about global economy, the Fed rate, the interest rate cycle, and I was referring that the Indian resilience and its in small entrepreneurs' ability to bounce back can be correlated to a jugaad system. I was saying in a movie called 12th Fail, the guy became an IS officer because his brother was running a jugaad truck which was confiscated by a police guy, and he got so frustrated with that he decided to become an IS officer. So our ability to sail through difficult situations through an entrepreneurial zeal is so strong that I don't think so that these macros affect. And we have come to the time, as you were saying, we are in Amrit Kal. The definition of MSME has been changed by Prime Minister, which is saying maximum support to micro enterprises. would take this economy to places.
So how much GDP contribution is being done by MSMEs?
So right now it's roughly around 30% odd.
Okay.
But the target, the government target and the natural progression, I think so by the time we'll be a $30 trillion economy, it should be more than 55-60%. In near term, in next 5 years, it should go to 40% is our estimate.
Wonderful. So which are the most promising sectors and which are the risky and the shaky ones?
Look, I think so. It's not a question of what is risky, what is thing. As far as UGro is concerned, we have a design. So we have a design of machine, wherein all of our credit is done through the lens of our data, which is GST, banking, and bureau. We have a proprietary score around that, and then we focus on 9 sector and 100 subsector. Our design of selection of sector, we look at India consumption economy. We look at sector which are independent and not dependent on government policy, sector which are concentrated in geography, and that's why we focus on healthcare, education, food processing, hospitality, light engineering, electrical equipment manufacturing, auto component, chemical, and micro enterprises. We continue to believe that these contribute roughly around 50% of MSME credit, and this would continue to contribute almost 50% of MSME output, and would continue to grow at a very healthy pace.
Okay. And what has been the methodology to arrive at this?
So the methodology for our sector selection, that was done way back in 2018. We partnered with CRISIL at that time, and now we refresh this data around the sector and subsector on a continuing basis. And I think so we have, through this report, we have tried to demonstrate how the sector and subsector economy is doing per se, right? Because people talk about MSME as a customer, but this customer belonging to which sector and subsector and what is happening to that subsector is also important to understand. So I think so that we have tried to demonstrate that through this report.
Absolutely. So what's your leadership mantra?
Be perseverance. I think so. I keep saying that there are 2 types of businesses. People who are blessed with kind of large capital, and people who have to create capital, right? We are all professionals who have turned to entrepreneurs, and we have to look for capital, whether it is on the equity or the debt side, and we have to prove ourselves on a daily basis. You have to perform, otherwise you'll perish. And the perseverance is what you have to have conviction of what you're doing. You have to have heart and passion around it, and you have to be at it irrespective of whatever challenge you face. So to get up every day and forget about the challenge of the last day and look every day as fresh day and be motivated about it is the leadership mantra.
Wonderful. And your final words for the young entrepreneurs?
Before you convert to entrepreneur, first have an experience. Entrepreneurship is not something which is fashionable, right? Don't do it unless you are really convinced that you will be able to solve for a problem, and you have a business which can be self-sustaining. Most of the entrepreneurs think that entrepreneurship is an option. If you do it and succeed, it's good. Otherwise, go back to the same working culture. So don't do that. Once you are fully convinced, then create some amount of resilience power or holding capacity, and be at it till the time you succeed.
Super. Thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you.
Same here. Thank you.